Let's take a deep breath. Fully connect. Connect into your body. Anyone that tunes in, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Or if you catch a replay later, you know what to do. Hashtag replay. So the thoughts that are coming through right now is always be humble. No matter the status, no matter where you are in your life, to always remain humble. Remain humble for where you are, and also remaining humble for other people. You know, it's such a pattern that society can get lost in, especially when you start, climbing the ladder as such. You start to really, make impact out there, and you start to do really, really, really well. Is always remaining humble. Like once you start to, I guess, make it. Let's say you make it, right? Or what's making it? I'm just having a joke. But that is literally what's coming through right now. Is, it's so important to always, check in. And it's like something that I was pondering on over the last few days, that, I've met so many people in my life, and there's some people that I've met that, they really love what they do, right? Let's just say they're a laborer, or, air conditioning man, or whatever. Like, I've come across many, many different people that just love what they do. And, I'm on a path that's really, in a different direction. I've been there. I've been a laborer before. And why I'm using that is because when it comes to, job titles, we kind of think, well, that's not important because they're just such and such. And we need to really look at it and think, well, people are people. And, no matter, what I'm here to do, what my purpose is, what my why is, to get up every single day and just show up and be present and really, help people, help lift people up to actually believe in themselves. And that's, I will always, look at people as not being any different, no matter their job title. And it's just really, really strong messages coming through for that, because, society can get caught in that power, right? And when you start to have some kind of status, you can have that power that comes in and take over. And I think humility is a bit of a lost art in this world. And I wanted to, really, really express my thoughts on what I think humility is, what I think humbleness is. And really, when it comes to me, let's just say receiving some feedback, compliments and certain things, I'm very humble. I'm humbled by, the words that come through, and I, happily receive that, but I'm humble about it. I'm not like, I'm better than anyone else. I'm, up here. It's like, my ego doesn't come in. It's just really feeling grateful, feeling really, really grateful that I'm able to just be in the presence of everyone I come in contact with, and not just like the people that I meet, I'd being complete presence with my family, and really, really enjoy those times, because I think it's really, really important. I know the mission that I'm on. I'm here to inspire people. I'm here to make a difference. I'm here to bring out the best version everywhere I go. And what comes with that, I can see where it's all unfolding, and vision myself being on stage to be able to actually motivate people and be one of those motivational speakers. And I don't think it's too far out of reach. In saying that though, I don't, it's not that my character changes when those things start to unfold and I get to live my dream. I get to do those things, that my character doesn't kind of shift of like, well, look at me now. It's like, no. I'm just quite happy just to be me, just to to show the world that authenticity matters over everything. It really, really does. And to always remain in integrity with myself, no matter what. And it's quite interesting. Like, you know, I've had so many different conversations with, you know, like family, friends over the last few days, and it's really helped me really, really reflect on these things. Like, you know, okay, well, what kind of character am I building here? Like, you know, and I've got to always remain in integrity with my soul. And it makes me think that this path that I've been on, I've met certain people in certain places that they have, or I've gone to do certain courses, right? And learning methods and things to do something a certain way. And I've always gone against the grain. I've always gone against the trends of, like, you know, if you do this strategy, if you do this method as a coach or something, then you're going to get leads, you're going to get sales, you're going to get these things, and it's going to work. And I'm like, it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right with my soul to show up in that way. And I just to really lead by example. And like, I would much prefer to just stay humble and always remain true to me, no matter what. So I believe that, I suppose, in this coaching world, when it comes to coaches, I truly believe that if you play the long game, if you just remain humble, you be authentic, and people feel into your messages, and you're like, hey, I'm over here, I can actually help you. You know, if you really feel called, I'm here. I have some tools, I have some things that I could help you, and I have life experience I've gone through that, you know, but without the push. It's just organic, and people feel into that, and they go, you know what, been watching you for a while. The way that you show up, the way that you shine, the way that you're able to be confident and all of these things, I struggle in these areas. Can you help me with this? And that's like, well, I'm all in. But when it comes to these, like, staying in integrity and being humble and all these things, when people come into the mix to say you need to do something a certain way, you need to follow the trends of methods, like cold messaging people. I know I've spoke about this before, but it's really, really coming through in a different way. It's like, you know, you need to do this, and it's like, you know, I truly believe that. I put my glasses on. Thank you, Annie, for tuning in. Thank you so much. It's not as much as the fire coming through right now. It's really just allowing myself to ground and really, really feel into this. But it's such an important message coming through, and I hope maybe this might land for someone out there to really be authentic and do things the right way. You know, there's such a thing as organic attraction. So just by simply sharing your stories, sharing your things, being vulnerable and remaining in integrity, that longer journey is far outweighing the journey of going and grabbing certain things and inauthentically messaging people, pressuring them, like, in desperation. And I have no desperate part in my bone. In, like, there's no desperation that lives in me. It's like, if people generally feel called to actually work with me, you know, I mean, I'm open for that, but I'm not pushing that. I'm just going to continue to show up and continue to share my stories, share my wisdom, share my value, and to continue to actually serve my purpose, which is really making a difference and showing people how to really allow themselves to be free, allow themselves to really open up and be the best version. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That's really, really all that matters. Genuine and soul driven. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. It's so good to have, you know, you guys tuning in. Is that Annie, Sherry? I think there's a few other people watching. I'm not sure who else is watching. 5 or 6. so grateful for you guys tuning in and, you know, being a big support on my journey. It's, you know, it has been a journey, and yeah, I'm just super grateful. But I just wanted to speak honestly about where I see like, I guess, like the world going. And I see there's a bit of a, I know you'll agree on this, Sherry. I think we've spoken about this, but like, you know, like there's a pendulum, you know, right? We live within the pendulum, and there's a shift about to happen. I really feel it over the next 3 to 6 months. There's going to be a massive shift, and the pendulum is like down here, right? And it would say that all of the inauthentic behavior and things that have been happening, it's going to like come to the surface, and it's going to be like that smoke and mirrors will be no more smoke and mirrors. And what's happening is the other guys on this side of the pendulum that have been authentic this whole time, like 2, 3 years, 5 years, like really serving people. And, you know, it's been difficult for them, but they still keep showing up. They still keep serving, you know, and stay in integrity. They don't go cold messaging anyone. That's going to start to shift, and people will be like, you know what? These are the guys that are showing the world that all we really need in this world is authenticity. It doesn't matter the modalities. It doesn't matter the coaching experience, the things. None of that matters. All that matters is authenticity. And these guys on the like other side of the pendulum are going to be like, you know what? I forgive myself. I was doing things a little out of integrity. They're going to look at the other guys on the other side of the pendulum and be like, you know what? Can you teach me how did you do it? How did you really unravel that to get to that point where you were confident enough to show your flaws and all? Like, how did you do it? Like, I'm really intrigued. Like, why are you shining the way you are? Why are you so confident? Why do you walk with that? I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm just going to be me. And that's what's going to be a beautiful sight to see, because then that's when the full co-creation comes in. That's when we go, all right, well, how do we do this, guys? How do we build a bigger community? How do we, you know, put everything into the pile of all of your gifts, your talents, your skills, your coaching experiences, like whatever modalities, things you have, and how do we like now start to really collaborate and be transparent, so then we can really have a win-win for all on this earth. And I think that's what everyone truly wants. But how do we get there? And I think it comes from the pendulum shifts and allowing that to be. Thank you so much. You say it, Sherry. You know what I'm talking about. Like, I know you do. But that's what I see. I do actually see that. And I think that, wouldn't that be an amazing, like, if you think about that whole, everyone talks about it, like, you know, heaven on earth, and having that and having co-creation, collaboration, community, that to get to that point, we realize each other's strengths, we realize each other's gifts, we realize each other's visions, and how we can mold that together. But it only happens from authenticity. It doesn't happen from, you know, how much you know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't happen for, well, you know, I've gotten results from doing this way, and it's like, yeah, that might work, but underneath it, are you really authentic to you, or are you just following trends? Are you following certain strategies, certain things? And I'm not saying that none of those things, like, you know, they work for some, but I just think at the end of the day, that's all going to be, that smoke and mirrors is going to come to the surface, and we're going to start to really see what's real in this world. And I know that I'm speaking as a leader for many that may tune in. I know I'm speaking for many right now that be really feeling my message, because we all get that. I spoke about this before, being on the journey of, like, as soon as everyone can see that, oh, okay, he's a coach, he's here. I don't like labels, but like, he's here to serve. It's like, then you start getting thousands of messages. You know, over the last few years, I've had, I don't know, like hundreds, right? Maybe not thousands, but hundreds of this, like, hey, you know, nice to connect. Do you want to come on my programs and these things? And it's like, No, I'm quite happy where I am. I've got my mentors, I've got my community, I've got my things, I've got my vision, I've got my mission. I thank you, but without actually really building rapport, there's no actual rapport building. There's no, and I'm wanting to really just lift this lid open completely, and it's like, well, how do we really get to that point where we say, hey, look, I understand what you're doing. I understand everyone's got businesses and they want to they want to make a difference and all of that, but let's do it the right way. Let's just have transparency. Let's, share each other's stuff, when it comes to videos and things. Just share each other's stuff, whatever resonates, and collaborate, throw our tools all in the mix, because this whole competition takes us away from that connection. This, like, if we're connected as one, right, it takes us away from unity, having competition. And there's a bigger vision coming through, not just me, but like there is a bigger vision coming through on this earth that, to really come back to that unity. It's community. And, maybe it's not like 10 communities, 10 different diverse energy of community. It's like, maybe it's just one big giant community where we really come together, because that essentially would be unity. That would be like complete unity. And exactly, Sherry. And for me, when it comes to community, I go no further than the community I'm in. My mission is to expand the community far and wide, and not to pressure, but just to say, hey, there's an invitation over here. This community is such a beautiful community to be in. It's changed my life to when it comes to the quantum flow community, with the whole doing the breath work, the breath, the movement, and the sound. It's completely shifted my life, and still shifting my life, because that's the thing. Once you learn something, embody something, or you do something, you have a transformational experience. That's not the end. That's just the beginning, because in life you can have challenges, you can have certain things that come in. And to be able to navigate your way through these challenges, then, you need these tools or something. Well, tools, I say, is like breathing properly. That's a tool. And when you have that tool to be able to breathe properly, that when you have stressful situations, it's not so much you're going to pull out a book and read this calming book. Like, hang on a minute, like someone's literally arguing at you or throwing knives, like metaphorically speaking. And you're like, hang on a minute, I'm just going to stop for a second. Can you just hold on? And you pull out your book and you're going to read the book and be like, oh yes, that really, really helped me in that situation. It's not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. But when it comes to the breathing, someone's like literally throwing knives, you're in danger, 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 metaphorically speaking. And you go, don't worry, I got this. I'm calm. You're no longer going to pick up a knife yourself and metaphorically speaking, and chuck the knife, because you're going to be calm. You're like, you know what? It's okay. I see where you're coming from. Maybe you walk out of the room because you don't react to it. Just like, it's all right. Thank you for that expression, whatever it is, because you're calm. It's like, what's going on here? Why is he so calm in this situation? I'm yelling at this person. What's going on? You just quietly walk out of the room. Protect your energy and your breathe. That's going to be effective, because when the nervous system is running on fight or flight, a book ain't gonna calm down that nervous system. Like in these situations, I just use the whole knife throwing situation as an example, saying that you're in situations where there's going to be literal knives thrown. But you get the point. So, yeah, I just think that, so this whole, like, breathing properly, I've banged on about it for the last few years, but it's been able to help me in these kinds of situations, like the challenges of life. It's one thing being able to shift me internally and shift so much, where I feel, vibrant, I feel energized and all of these things, but to really have something at bay in the moments of real, like, stressful situations around you. This is where the whole saying of be the calm in the storm comes from. It's like, how do you do in life when shit hits the fan around you? How do you do then? And that's been like the biggest learning curve for me of just, so what I'm saying is that I truly see that the community I'm in is going to just grow and grow and grow. And it's going to be the go-to in years to come. Like, people will start to realize, well, we've had communities over here, but the community over here is probably the one, meaning breathing, because it's the first thing that you do when you're born is breathe, and it's the last thing you do. So I'm 100% confident that breath work will be such a common thing that everyone's going to really, really want to get their hands on as a lifestyle, as an embodiment and a lifestyle. So to be able to deal with the stresses in life, because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Do I go through stress? Of course I do. I'm not this like saint and like I'm good like all the time. And it's like, yep, I'm like the monk that can walk through anything and just be like, yes, I'm so like nothing affects me. Nothing can touch me. Like, of course I still have some stressful moments, but the thing is having tools and breathing, and it gets me through it. But I don't, when I go through, I guess, triggering moments, or there's some challenges and where there might be a little bit of like a stress, I will 100% feel that. I'm not going to run from that. The raw and real is like, I'm going to feel that. If it's painful, I'm going to feel that. Really tap into my solar plexus and really feel that rather than run from it. And by doing that, that's what allows me to really transmute and really up level and, to be able to be my best version. And I think this is like, it's good to just show like the vulnerableness of like, well, hey, I'm human. I'm not like flying up in the air where I'm above and like, oh, well, I was once a laborer, but that means nothing in this world right now. It's like, well, there's people out there that love what they do. And, I'm no better. I'm no better than that. I'm just looking to improve every single day. I'm looking to grow. I'm looking to evolve every single day, and no attachment to it. It's to allow myself to be present, allow myself to find the balance of life. And, by me sharing, I'm allowing others, like I'm allowing you guys, Sherry, Annie, Maria, if you're on, who else tuned in, I'm allowing you guys to know that you guys can show that too. And this message is for you to be like, I got this. And no matter if Mark's gone through these challenges and he's okay, then maybe I'm going to be okay too. And with breathing and with learning and observing, and I just think, it's really, really important to share these messages. But yeah, any reflections, Annie or Sherry? Any like ahas or takeaways or something that's just landed? I'm open. It's really, really good timing to get on and share these messages. Over the last few days, I've taken this like surrender mode to like just enjoying the company of others and communicating, family and friends, and not so much like the focus of like so many things all at once. We should talk to you earlier. It must be the right message, Annie. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, it's really, really, really strong coming through. I think presence is key, being humble is key, authenticity, and I'm not afraid to speak what needs to be spoken, to shed light. And I've said it before that anyone that, no judgment, but anyone that does go out of integrity, they do things a little, it's maybe not in alignment to their soul or their things, then it's okay, because I'm shedding light to like, hey, you can forgive yourself, because I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes too. I've definitely done things out of integrity over the years, and then, you know, really growing over the last 2 years has allowed me to really come into integrity and in alignment with me and who I really am, what my core values are, what my beliefs are, and to really honor that and lead by example. And then in leading by example, it's a ripple, an invitation for others to then rise and step into who they are. So yeah. Went through changing. Love the reminder about breathing. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. But it's true, and I'm grateful to be in the community with you, Annie, Cherry. You guys are doing so well, and it's just the beginning. Like, we're opening up. Say that you do have stress, really, Sherry. This is not. Yes, I do. I do have stress. Of course, yes, Sherry. Well, maybe I haven't shared enough of it. Of course, I have stressful moments, but I know how to deal with it. Like, you know, it's to sit with it and see what I can learn, and feel like if I have some triggers or something, like, I don't know, like something you've been around in family and stuff. Sometimes family can trigger you, right? But just to feel it, see what I can learn. And yeah, I'm no saint. I do have these moments, but I don't live in it. I don't wallow over it. I just observe it and create that awareness around it. And then once I've felt that, learned that, move through. That's right, Annie. Yes, I'm a monk. Nothing can touch me. Nothing can come into my field. No, I'm a human being. I'm a human being. Oh, that's funny. Can you imagine that? Tapping into that monk-like, you know, aura. Tapping into that monk-like aura where, you know, you walk around like, I'm always in bliss. Although, hey, I do think as a consciousness, we can get to that state of being where it's like, well, once we have that awareness, like no judgment in the world, I think literally to get to that state of pure bliss where, well, there's no need to even allow anything to affect you. It's like when you have that awareness, you have no judgment. It's like whatever is projected at you, whatever you feel like, oh, that's not in alignment, oh, that's triggered me, or whatever. I mean, it all starts from inside in your own internal world. But like when you have no judgment, like, well, I understand that they might be going through something. So I'm not taking on anything, whatever they're projecting, because like the hurt that they're going through, they're just spilling that out. You have no judgment, then yes, I believe we can get to that point where like, well, why not? Just, you can be more in bliss. You can be more in that love and that connection, and where there's full presence. Like, we can get to that point, but we're not there yet. There's like the pendulum, like we need a lot to kind of shift energetically, as a collective to get to that point. Maybe at that point we all become monk-like. Well, you are pretty close to me. We are getting there. We are getting there. And that's the thing though. I do feel calm a lot of the times. It's like, it takes a lot to really, I guess, like raffle my feathers. Raffle. But I'm not some alien. I'm human. Or am I an alien? I don't know why, I'm just in that. You know when you just really allow that laughter to just come through? You can't control it. How many of us would get on a live and just start laughing for the sake of laughing, right? Like, see, that's showing it all. Like, I made a promise with myself a while ago. I'm just gonna no filter. I mean, I've always been that way, but like even more so, like no filter, show it all, show the warts and all, show the flaws and all, show it all, show my sense of humor, show my, I guess sometimes maybe triggered, show that, show it all. Laughing yoga. Exactly. But, you know, key message without getting carried away is like, for you guys, remain humble, believe in yourself, believe in that infinite potential, believe in that value that you have to share, believe in that wisdom that you have deep down inside. And no matter what people may think of that value, that wisdom, whether they like it or they don't, share it anyway. Because like I've shared this before, but you know, I've gone through that moment in my life where I learned so much just from one moment, just from one act of taking my juggling balls down to the beach months ago. It was almost a year ago. And my speaker and I put my volume up loud, listening to Les Brown, and he was talking about dreams. And, you know, my intention was to make someone laugh, someone smile. And within that, you know, I started juggling and might catch someone's attention for the good. And then someone come across from like having breakfast and they really, really didn't like what I was doing. Like, you're disturbing the peace. Like, I'm not happy. What are you doing? Like, stop doing that. Can you turn that down? And I'm like, oh, look, you know, my intention was to make someone smile, to lift someone's spirit. That didn't work for him, right? And then this lady in the background's like clapping, like, well done, man. You know, thank you. And I came over, I started to, you know, just chat, be like, you know, I'm appreciative that you were sitting there and watching that whole time. She's like, I love what you were doing. That's amazing. She's like, don't worry about that. You know, we all see things different, basically, in a roundabout way. And that was when I got that learning. I'm like, okay, so no matter what you do, you may have like both sides of the pendulum come in at the same time. So yeah, one end's like not liking the vibe, the other end's like, yes, I'm loving it. So that's my invitation for you guys. Like, no matter what you do, no matter what you share, that it's inevitable. I mean, until we get to that monk-like state, like, okay, you know, everything's all a bit more calmer in the world, then you're going to have the triggers around. You're going to have the ones that are like maybe envious of what you're doing or whatever it is, that or hurt, and then projecting that they may not like what you're doing on this end, but then the others may love what you're doing. So do it anyway. Share it anyway. Share what's in your heart, because that's what matters more than anything else. We all see things differently. We do. And this is something that, you know, for me, I've really, really been observant of it's not so much about me and how I see things. It's more wanting to learn. I'm finding myself wanting to listen more and more and more. Like, as much as that, you know, we think as humans, we have to speak. We have to just always speak. And it's like, no, sometimes it's good to just be in the presence of others and allow them to share, so then you can learn from their perspective. So you can learn, and that's how we really grow as human beings. It's more from listening and what we can learn, for how others see things a little different. And when you come from the angle of learning, not judging, but you're like, I'm generally like learning from the way that you see it, then it comes through differently, because then, you know, like how you show up in the world, you're showing up in a different way, because you're not getting caught in this judgment of like, well, I disagree. Like, you know, there's conversations we've all gone through it. I'm just speaking the truth. Like, this is what's coming through me. I'm speaking the truth. Every human being's gone through this. And you have those conversations in your life, and then you get but my opinion's this, and you want to defend, and you're just like, no, but I disagree. I disagree completely with what you're saying. Like, you know, that's not right. Like, you know, you're wrong. You know, my way's right. And when you tap into that energy, like, just observe and feel into. Don't focus on the the conversation you're having with whoever that is, and you're getting like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. When you operate from that energy, just tap in, just breathe, tap in and ask the question, is this my highest? How does this make me feel? And it's the same philosophy that when they say, well, I'm not going to forgive that person over there, if like, it could be 10 years of something. And you hold on to this grudge, you hold on to this like, this bitterness that comes inside you, that it's the forgiveness the forgiveness isn't for them, it's for you. So when you start to forgive you start to release it. And so the same philosophy that when you have this like, I disagree, and you play that energy, it's like, well, hang on a minute, no judgment. Start to turn that around of like, oh, like that's a very interesting perspective. You've helped me see it from a different angle. And it's not and then, they might go, oh, appreciate you from validating the way that I see it. Then they may say back, I'm just, just pre-framing something that could happen. Well, I'd love to hear your insights. You're like, well, I appreciate the fact that you're wanting to hear my insights. Well, here you go. So the way that I see it, my angle, my perspective is like this. And they're like, oh, wow, we both just learned something off each other. And that's true wisdom. That's true knowing. This is true growth in the world. And I feel like I'm speaking for many here. It feels absolutely wonderful when you stay in space and love no matter what. Exactly, it does, Sherry. Willingness to see and experience differently. Exactly, Annie. And that's like, this is where I see like conversations in general, like within families, things, they start to evolve more into this like understanding where someone's coming from versus like, no, you're wrong, like a disagree. And why I use these examples, like especially when it comes to family, because family, like you've grown up together, your ins and outs, but then some of you may start to change, shift your values. Maybe you don't drink anymore, maybe you don't do this anymore, and you start to shift that energy into that and start to come more into your own. And then they might be like, what's going on here? But this is why like sometimes misunderstandings can happen, because as you grow, if others, and not to look like, oh, I've outgrown you, but it's like they might not have done so much work at such, and that's when you can just send love and compassion, understanding, versus that you've got a certain awareness, but then you're judging their level of awareness or where they're at. I'm just using that as an example. So it's better to just really understand these things and come from a place of curiosity. When you start to come from that place of really, really feeling curious, and you start to ask more questions in life, watch relationships and things start to shift completely. And with yourself, you start to tap in to really get to know yourself even deeper. You start to feel into that presence. That's really, really the key. The soul feels free. Yes. Hey, I'm on a bit of a... I'm not even going to say rant. It's just channeling through me. There's a lot coming through right now, and I'm allowing it to be. It's, there's still plenty of time. When you're in presence, there's plenty of time to go about my day and do the things that are high priority, and you really, really doing those things. But there's also a place and time for conversation and being a communicator. It's important. Thank you for sharing. You're welcome. And thank you guys for showing up as you as well. Both of you and whoever else tuned in. I think Maria tuned in too. I think there was a few others. I'm not too sure. Just breathe into that one. fully present, fully connect, humble, and here to serve, here to show up, here to lead, here to bring about new visions for humanity. And we rise together. There's no I, it's we. Literally, we are here together. We're here to rise in unity. We're here to bring about a revolution, evolution, back to that one love, that one connection. And to get there, it's a collective effort. It's a what can I put into the piece to the puzzle today kind of question that we all, need to tap into. What can I really put into the piece to the puzzle today? Because we're all a part of the puzzle. And it is a puzzle in this matrix as such. It's a puzzle, right? So you've got to weave your way through and understand it. And once you create that awareness, you can really start to shift. And I'm hoping that this message reaches who else it needs to reach as well. I'm hoping it gets to the people that it needs to reach, that may be kind of out of integrity, that may be thinking, well, yeah, no, authenticity, it's the way forward. And as a heart-centered leader, that's what I would look at who I am as a person, not as a label, but like I'm here to lead. I'm not here to follow trends. I'm not here to follow just because a method works. I'm not here to follow that BS. I'm here to lead by example. That, let this really shine a light on people to realize that authenticity, and this is where my true gift is to show what authenticity really is. Because I truly believe authenticity is like, the messages that I'm sharing today, and being completely transparent and honest of like, well, we all have conversations like this. We all have these things. And to really dissect it openly and see what that even looks like, to share that, that's when we can start to understand, well, I understand what you're saying, Mark. That's true authenticity. That's true integrity. And, not to say that it's not out there and it's not there, but there's a long way to go for that. And when getting there, we're rising. I feel there's some massive energetic internal shifts happening for many on this earth right now. I think it's just to really, really remain humble, calm, and grounded. And that allows that next level to start to unravel. Anyway, on that note, I will wrap it up for that. I'm not sure how long I've talked for. It might have been 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I don't even know. But it's truly, truly important. And, I'm wanting you guys to shine as you are. Everyone in humanity. That's my true purpose. It's like, nothing fulfills me more than to see someone show who they are. Nothing fulfills me more. That's true success for me, when I can share something as a mirror, because I'm not here to change anyone. I'm here to just bring awareness and be that reflective mirror where others feel that they're seen, heard, and loved, where they can show up and just express. Be them. Namaste. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let this bring your spirits up, and continue on your day, continue on your path, continue to be you, continue to really show up. Warts and all, show the raw, show the realness, show it all, share all of the stories, share your values, share your wisdom, because we all have some piece to this puzzle. We all have something deep down inside. Just allowing that to be. Thank you. We'll just breathe on that. Inhaling through the nose, bring those arms up, connected to the sun. Giving that sun a big giant hug, virtual hug. And just allow yourself to receive that golden shower of light to come down through the top of the head, through every cell of your being as you exhale out. Feel that integrate in every cell of your being, recalibrating new healthy cells and activating that presence, grounding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Namaste.